Okay, we ready to roll? Okay. I'd like to call to order the Open Space Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Now I'll read the land acknowledgement. The land that Eureka rests on is known in the Wiyot language as Juruji. Past actions by local, state, and federal governments remove the Wiyot and other indigenous peoples from the land and threaten to destroy their cultural practices. The city of Eureka acknowledged the Wiyot community, their elders both past and present, as well as future generations. This acknowledgement demonstrates the city's commitment to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism. Can we have the roll call, please?
Committee Member Brenner,
Present.
Committee Member Hedgecock,
Present.
Committee Member Mays,
Here.
soon to be Committee Member Smoker. On your microphone. There's a little button that says push.
Okay, present for Sarah.
Almost, we didn't hear you, but
Sarah, present. Okay, sorry. Did you hear me?
now we heard you.
Okay, Sarah
you.
Smoker, present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Committee Member Malik,
Present.
Committee Member Sims is not here yet, and Committee Member Bareilles is not with us tonight. So
Okay. All right. Next is the oath of office for Sarah Smoker. So, Sarah, will you please stand and raise your right hand? I, Sarah Smoker, do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California and the Charter of the City of Eureka, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter in the capacity of Commissioner for Open Spaces, Parks, and Recreation Committee of the City of Eureka. And she says,
Yes, I do, I confirm.
okay, and then you'll sign there. And there's the pen. Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome,
welcome.
Sarah. Thank you.
Glad to have you aboard. Yes. Okay, and now we'll approve the minutes from the August 28th, 2025 regular meeting as submitted. Are there any questions, corrections, or comments from the commission on the minutes for the August 28th, 2025 meeting? And if not, is there any public comment on this item? Do we have anybody on Zoom tonight? So, okay. I'm just reading my script. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
Oh, go ahead.
I so move.
Do
I'll
we have a
second.
second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, let's vote. Aye.
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 And the motion passes, and so the minutes have been approved.
you are allowed to vote just because everybody else is agreeing with that. But if you'd like to abstain, I can mark that.
to abstain because I haven't read the.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And now we'll go to commission reports. Are there any commission reports? And I don't think so. And so we'll move on to public comments. Supposed to ask for public comment, but we don't have any public people here. So we'll move on to the next agenda item, and that is going to be old business, Dayas Park Improvement Project. And is Robin with us tonight?
No, I'm gonna be
You're Robin. Hello.
Robin tonight.
Okay.
Thank you. So yay, we got the park open.
It's
The
wonderful.
fences came down the Thursday before on the 10th or 11th of September, and we had a wonderful grand opening. And thank you to all the commissioners that came. And it was a great turnout. We had ice cream and happy kids and families all over. When we opened the park unofficially on the Thursday prior, about noon, the fences came down, and myself and Donna and other staff, we just sat there and watched and waited for people to come. People were on their phone telling others that it was open. And then just to watch how the kids would enter the park, and what did they look at? What did they say? It was really interesting. You know, obviously the play pieces are quite impressive and people have been looking from outside. But you know, some of the kids just came in and rolled in the grass, and you know, it was really fun to watch. And so we would go back to our office, and then we were jonesing to get back over there to just have that experience and all the hard work. We've been working on the park for 4 years plus, through the grant process, the development planning and construction documents, working with our landscape designers, and then working with the contractors to actually build the park. So it was a huge moment for us, and we just had to take it in. The next day on Friday, we did the same thing all day. We kept going back and sitting there and watching, sitting on the wall and watching and talking to people. And, you know, so we knew we were going to have a great turnout on Saturday. And, it was, we have a video that we prepared that I'd like to cue up here, and Derek's going to work on that for us. But while he's doing that, you know, our grand opening was successful. We're not quite done. The project is not fully completed. And so we have some punch list items that we're doing walkthroughs with the contractors. These are smaller things, programs for some of the automated items, the lighting, the irrigation and stuff like that. And then there's a whole list of little tidbits, basically, that when we are at a substantial completion, but then we will get to a final completion. The retention payout for the final payout will come and will be done. And then we have, you know, warranties and things like that that we need to get from the contractors for materials and then labor, things that were installed. We've got a few little items that we still need to finish on the sports court. We had a wonderful demonstration, roller hockey, which you'll see, and futsal and basketball. First thing, the EPD officers were there early on, and they were shooting hoops. And so it was just fun to watch the community and how they were impressed and getting to interact with all the different things that we had put a lot of thought into, as well as a lot of the community members that had made the grant process successful through all their input in the outreach meetings and storyboards and pictures and things like that. So we're still floating on the clouds over this, but we're nailing down the finishing touches. And then actually we have our very first park rental this weekend for birthday parties. So it immediately, you know, we started getting flooded with, how can I rent this section? So there's 2 picnic areas at the park, and there's one that's got a couple extra tables, and that's a larger area and has barbecues, and that is our rental space for parties. And then we have a free space on the other side that's just a come as you know, first come, first serve. It's popular, obviously, and if you've gone by there, it's still a buzz there. So anyways, we'll watch our little video, and I can answer any questions too about the park after this.
Oh, look at that.
It's our city manager in the crab costume.
Yeah.
Our paint by number mural.
Bless you. Wow. Wow. Oh, I love that. That was great.
Yeah.
So was that a drone that took
Yes, we have a Joseph Carter who's put together many wonderful productions for us through the years. Has a drone that we fly. That was how we got the bubble shots over town in the last video of the Highland Park reopening. And just like to thank all the community services staff, recreation staff, for being there, being with us, and providing the games and fun opportunities. The mural was a paint by number mural. It's gorgeous and it's all done now. And so yeah, it was a wonderful celebration of a lot of hard work, and we're thrilled for the community and specifically the neighborhood there that so well deserved that. And if you remember what the park looked like before, the transformation is incredible. So kudos to our project manager, Robin Prasker, and all of our staff. So is there any questions about anything at Dayas? Or
I have one
Yeah.
question. I was there really early on the 13th, and it's an amazing transformation if you remember 2030.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to know, I asked two of the city workers there and the street story people, and I was looking for the signage that the website said honoring the 2030 legacy, because that service club was a big service club here in Eureka at one time.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, in the whole state of California it was. But I looked everywhere and I couldn't find it. So the website says there's something, and that the plaza was going to be named. And I was there to take a picture and I couldn't find it. So could you just tell me where I need to look?
Sure. So we haven't got all the interpretive signage yet. And so those are some of the things that we're finalizing. Some of those things are not included in the grant. So those are things that need to be produced by us. It's all in the works. So we have some kiosks and things like that. We definitely have a interpretive signage that talks about the 2030 club. Unfortunately, they're not active and haven't been for quite a while. But throughout the
Kids are still in this.
Sure,
community.
and we definitely, a lot of people, that's still the name of the park to them, and so we want to honor that. And we will have some interpretive signage coming soon, and we'll let you know when that gets installed. And I know Hannah has been working on some of that, and so we'll be able to provide some of the imagery soon, and then we'll go into production for that stuff. And today we just got some of the park rules signs and stuff. So a lot of those little things are still coming, but having the fence up and no construction going on and everything usable, we had to open because the fences will be torn down, and so there's more to come, definitely, as well as other interpretive
Okay,
information
I'll just
to.
let me know and I'll take my pictures.
We'll get you there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have like bear-proof garbage containers there, because as you know, garbage does get kind of, if it's not handled real. And one more follow-up question. Surveillance or security cameras, is that something you guys talked about too? I know I'm just kind of catching up with
That's
this.
okay.
Okay. And those
I
are my-
definitely have answers for those.
All right,
so
thank you.
we have the first round of garbage cans have come in. They are called a Bear Saver can, and we've been using them all over the place. It started on our waterfront because we had some different style trash cans that debris was easy to remove. Is also easy to put larger quantities of debris in there. So the two things that the Bear Savers do for us is they're very sturdy, and they only allow a small slot of garbage. So people aren't bringing stuff out of their car from their house. It's a common issue at some of our parks and open spaces that people utilize our garbage cans for their household garbage, and it's actually a theft of city services when we come down to it. But it's also challenging because our garbage rates are so high to go to the dump that you're driving by the waterfront and you see a can that's not full, and I might not put one of my bags of garbage in there on my way to the dump that saved me $10 or $20. So definitely, our garbage cans were actually designed, the artwork on them were designed by Hannah Atwood. And when the manufacturer, Bear Saver manufacturer, saw the art and saw the product, they were so impressed. And so Hannah got a really nice kudos from their manufacturer that they had never seen anything that nice. So, and we will be adding more. We're also need to add some ash receptacles for the barbecues, and so those are some of the little amenities that we're still populating the park with, and figuring out usage too. It's like, okay, where are people going? You know, what's their path of travel to a garbage can, and which cans are filling up faster, things like that. So definitely surveillance has been on site since construction started. So we have what's called a lot cop there, and it's gotten moved around a few times. It's still on site, but we're meeting in the next couple of weeks with our IT department, and we're gonna get some like wireless camera systems in there, and so we're working out the logistics of that. The other thing that we're gonna do is putting in like 2 webcams, so I can go on and, like, I want to play basketball today, so I'm going to go on the webcam and see if there's people down there playing, or I want to play hockey. Is the hockey club there? Or I want to play basketball, but the hockey club's there. So we want people to be able to go on and see what's going on down at the park today. How many kids are there? Is there a space at the picnic table? Things like that. So multi-use out of the cameras, you know, issues with is an issue for us, but we also want to provide like just information and opportunities, like planned opportunities. And then we'll also have some kiosks, like I mentioned, that will detail, like, okay, on these days there's a hockey game, pickup game, or open basketball drop in and things like that. We want to program the park because we want the most diverse usage there. It helps us with a lot of our issues. So, yes. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Jeff. That was a great update. All right. And new business, volunteer month, Hannah Atwood.
Hi, I am Hannah Atwood. I'm an activities coordinator with Community Services. I have a PowerPoint for you about Volunteer Month, which I think is getting pulled up. So in 2022, we declared September to be Volunteer Month. We have volunteer programs all year round, but we wanted to dedicate a month to just celebrate and get the word out to let people know that there are volunteer opportunities year round. So this is our flyer for Volunteer Month this year. And I'll kind of go through it a little bit. So a little bit of background: Volunteer Month falls under our neighborhood beautification program. So since 2021, we have had 159 events, almost 3,000 volunteers, 145,000 pounds of trash removed, 41,000 pounds of green waste removed, and over 700 plants planted. And that is across many of our public spaces in Eureka. The first picture here is Cooper Gulch. They were pulling out Crocosmia. The second picture here is plants on Wabash. And then the third one is from a trash bash. So that would be somewhere along the waterfront trail. So part of our beautification program is we have recurring events that happen every month. So the first one and our longest standing one is Trash Bash, and we partner with Pack Out Green Team for that. They are a 501c3 off of Pacific Outfitters, and they're a group of people who are dedicated outdoors people that noticed there's trash in the outdoor spaces that they're recreating and decided to start picking up trash. So they do it every single Saturday. We partner with them the first Saturday of every other month. So the next one upcoming is October 4th, and we'll be at the Hickshari Trail at the Hillficker Lane entrance. And for those events, we usually get around 30 to 40 volunteers, and Los Bagels donates bagels and spreads. So every volunteer gets a free bagel. And we do it for 90 minutes, and we can usually fill a 40-yard dumpster, which you can kind of see in the little in the back behind there. A few months, I want to say in June, we actually had so much trash that we had to haul stuff in 2 separate trucks to the dump afterwards. So we usually get a really good turnout for that. And that's on different locations along the waterfront trail. And then our other recurring event, which I'll talk a little bit more about in the next slide too, is Sequoia Park Ivy League. So that happens once a month in Sequoia Park. And that one is a pretty good turnout, usually around like 20 people regularly, and sometimes there's more. They go to Sequoia Park where the Glatt Fountain is, and then they go down into the park and remove ivy. Ivy is their main focus, and they usually fill a 20-yard dumpster with ivy, and they have a few little offshoot groups that will also go out during the week and do regular ivy pulling. And then Old Town Beautification is our last one. We usually get around 10 to 15 people for that one, and we're out in Old Town, mostly focusing on the brick planters on 2nd Street, occasionally the gazebo or Coast Guard Plaza, just weeding and maintaining those public spaces. And that's the first Saturday of every other month, alternating with Trash Bash. So some other programs that are part of our neighborhood beautification program is the volunteer coordinator program, and the Ivy League is actually an example of one of those programs. So our volunteer coordinator, Heidi, came to us and said that she is a neighbor to Sequoia Park and she sees all this ivy and she wants help fixing that problem. And so she has been our volunteer coordinator for that program since 2022. So she has a list of volunteers that she emails and keeps in regular contact with, and she kind of has the vision for it, and will walk the park and decide where ivy needs to be pulled out. And then we provide staff and dumpsters and supplies. So it's a really nice partnership with a community member who has a vision, who just saw something in their neighborhood that they wanted to be better. And so we also have a volunteer coordinator at the Del Norte Dog Park, who doesn't do as much regularly scheduled events like Heidi does, but she will get together groups of volunteers to spread gravel. I don't know how familiar you all are with the Del Norte Dog Park, but it's right on the waterfront and there's a walking trail in it. And so in the winter, the walking trail can get a little bit muddy. So they reached out to us and said that they would like to see that area filled in with some gravel. So they help with that. And then just kind of keeping an eye on the dog park, picking up trash and stuff like that, and just being our kind of community eyes out in the park because they're the ones who are using it the most often. And then another volunteer coordinator we have is starting to do something similar to Heidi, what she does in Sequoia Park, doing it in Cooper Gulch, removing cotoneaster, crocosmia, and ivy at Cooper Gulch. And then we do a lot of our volunteer programs are big drop-in events, but we realized that some people just want to pick up trash on their own time. So we started this DIY Beautify. We've given out 50 kits since last year when we started it. And it's just a trash picker and a bucket, but we've had a lot of interest in people just wanting a free trash picker and bucket. And there is a gentleman who I do see in Old Town regularly with his trash picker and bucket, because we got little branded City of Eureka ones. So it's always nice to see the people out there doing that. So that's kind of a background on the neighborhood beautification program as a whole. And then in 2022, we started the volunteer month. So these are some pictures from last year. We have Old Town, some people at the dog park in the middle, Ivy League down at the bottom, and then we have our celebration party that we do at the end of the month. So for this year, September 6th, we had our Old Town Beautification. That regularly happens the first Saturday of every September, so it was a good one to fit into this month. We had 36 volunteers who spread 8 yards of wood chips and planted 36 native plants at the gazebo in Old Town. They planted kinnick, Yerba Buena, salal, and the native strawberries, so some nice ground covers. And then Uplift has a volunteer program called Old Town Stewards, and so they have a volunteer that helps water those plants regularly. So Los Bagels also donates bagels to this Old Town beautification event. So everybody got a bagel. And then Sequoia Park Ivy League also happens regularly, so it fit really well into this month. We had 43 volunteers fill a 20-yard dumpster for this, the Ivy League during this month. We get free zoo passes donated, and we got 40 donated, which is what we've gotten in the past few years, and this is the first year that we've actually ran out. So that was just really nice to see that there's so many people attending. And they pretty regularly will fill that 20-yard dumpster. And then at the dog park, they spread some more gravel. We had 19 volunteers. They spread 3 yards of gravel and some wood chips as well. And then they installed this fence art of the little paw print. We are experimenting with this new type of art installation in town. We did it at Highland Park at the grand opening there. And it's a pretty cute, easy way to get people involved, and it's relatively inexpensive too. And there's a way that you can install them to make it vandal proof too. So we've had success with them staying as well. And Myrtle Ave Pet Center donated a gift card to raffle off to one of the volunteers. And then our last event of the month is coming up this Saturday. It's a volunteer appreciation barbecue. So we wanted to invite all of you to come check it out and meet some of our cool volunteers. We just have some incredible volunteers, and they're really doing so much for the community. And so we think it's important to take the time to celebrate them and thank them for what they do. So we'll have a band playing, Blue Rhythm Review, and then we'll have lots of food and some lawn games, and we'll be recognizing our volunteer coordinators with a vest and a patch marking how many years that they've been a volunteer coordinator. And that's at Sequoia Park this Saturday from noon to 3. And then because we're talking about volunteers, we invited some other groups. So Sequoia Park Ivy League is our group, but she likes to table and talk to people as well. Uplift Eureka is another department within the city, and they do the Old Town Stewards and a few other things like co-pilots, which is reaching out to the unhoused population. Humboldt Trails Council we work with regularly along the waterfront. And then Kiwanis we're working with to help with a park project. Empower Eureka is the name of our volunteer program. And then Redwood Invasive Plant Eradicators, he kind of works in tandem with Sequoia Park Ivy League and the Coalition for Responsible Transportation Priorities. We worked with them for the Dayas grand opening to have a bike valet, and they're always looking for volunteers for that. And then we've had some really great sponsors for this month too. Pearson's, this is the 4th year now that they have donated a very generous gift card to encourage people to come to every event. People who have attended every event will get entered into a raffle. So we have 9 people who have attended every event this month, and they'll be entered into a raffle for the $250 Pearson's gift card. And then Dutch Bros Co-op, Pacific Outfitters, Pepsi, Myrtle Ave, Pet Center, Sequoia Park Zoo, and Los Bagels have all donated stuff for us to give to our volunteers. And this is a picture of Trash Bash. I think that's all I got. Do you have any questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
So I see you have some local businesses. That's amazing. How can we incentive more businesses to, like, because I'm not going to name any names, but some places have quite a bit of, garbage. It could be their customer's fault, but is there ways we can get them interested? Because I'm sure the turning in garbage costs a lot of money, after time, so many pounds, but maybe something in the future where people want to, like, a small amount towards those dumpsters or something like that.
Jeff might have more information, but I know that we are limited a little bit about keeping activities to publicly owned spaces. And there are definitely private spaces where there is trash issues. And so I don't have a super great answer to that.
We're always looking for more support. So definitely outreach, and that's where like tabling and things like that, and just getting these reports to people, and getting presentations at council meetings and such. But yeah, we are limited to our own public spaces for the actual cleanups. So like the Ivy League can't go onto outside of our park boundaries, for example, just because of liabilities. The other thing is like fairness of like, we are expending some monies to do these projects, and so it needs to be appropriately done and fair. But we've seen these programs grow and grow. And when we started the Empower Eureka programs several years ago, it was a quarter of the size of what we're doing now. And so that momentum is there. We've gotten people on board that are out there, they see us or they hear about us, and then like Los Bagels, we want to give you guys breakfast, or we've had McDonald's come and provide breakfast and things like that for different events. And so as we get more smaller niche and neighborhoods involved, so for example like Dayas Park, I had several people come up to me that live in the neighborhood. They're like, hey, we want to help you guys with the park. Okay, so now that grassroots starts there, and it starts off with 2 people, 4 people, 8, 10, 12 that enjoy the park, and they're in the neighborhood and their vested interests in their neighborhood parks, and those things grow and grow. And so we want to see these programs grow. We're always looking for more things. Even on the corporate level, we've utilized like Walmart. We used to have our, unfortunately we're not doing it anymore, but we had our, the plastic
film recycling.
Plastic film recycling. You can't recycle it anywhere, but we were collecting it like at the Adorni Center, and then we were taking it to Walmart. So hopefully there's those types of opportunities for the community and for our environment. And so it's grown and grown, and then we get one new member who has some connection to somebody, and the connection with like Pack Out Green Team came through some other processes that we had through city parks. So yeah, we're on the hunt for opportunities and welcome anyone who wants to share with us and the city. So yeah.
Any other questions for Hannah? Well, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Let's see, next, the McKay Community Forest Advisory Group, and that is, I am the liaison, and we did have a meeting, so I'll report on that. Our meeting was on September 9th, and we got a trails update that the Redwood Acres trail signs are now in and will be installed during the month of September. And at Northridge, that area of the McKay Community Forest, they're rocking the perimeter road, and they're putting in drained rocking for the horse riding area. And now they now have a motorized wheelbarrow, which is helping Dennis a lot. Dennis used to be on the commission with all of us, and he's loving his motorized wheelbarrow. Makes doing all that gravel moving a lot easier. I guess there was a generous donor who gave money for the motorized barrels. And then the kiosk sign on Harris, because they're trying to encourage walkers to stop using the logging road, and they want them to start accessing the new trailhead, and that kiosk sign is going to be going up. They're also working on the bike trails at the Northridge area, and they hope to get started on the bike park in October, but they might have to hold off because of weather. But they will be putting up signs to keep hikers off the bike trails. So trying to, manage the different users of the McKay Forest. And there will be a special event in November, there'll be the Veterans Run. And, but they're probably not going to be able to get the permitting for a timber harvest for this next year due to different bottlenecks. And, because they will be doing timber harvesting, it's part of the overall plan that money from timber harvesting will be used to provide community services in the community forest. But there are some bottlenecks going on with permitting. And then we are also working on fundraising. And so there's going to be a fund at Humboldt Area Foundation. And we're going to start getting the word out that the public can donate to the community forest. And we also had some reports on how that fund will be managed. And that's all I have to report. And so, as it says here, I'm supposed to thank myself for that report. And are there any comments or questions?
Thank you, Karen.
Okay. All right. And so upcoming volunteer opportunities. And so Jeff is taking Robin's place tonight.
We kind of covered that in Hannah's thorough report
Okay.
tonight, but
All right.
thank you, Hannah. You did a great job. I'm ready to
Okay.
move on to the next.
So we'll move on to the next, and that is Parks Capital Projects. And this is for Jeff.
Okay. So as we've been touting for a while, we're on a roll with our parks projects. We have 2 more coming that will be done next year in 2026. So we've talked about the Grace Martin Memorial Park, and that the location of that is right down in front of the Sacco Amphitheater between the Adorney parking lot. There's the dock, the guest dock there, and then the trail. It'll include extension and appropriate installation of a Class 1 trail all the way up to the Adorney Center. And as well as trail improvements of that Class 1 trail all the way out past the Samoa Bridge. So it'll really finalize that section of the trail, and it'll be up to par with the rest of it. That trail's been there for quite some time, and the asphalt is worn. The tree roots have gotten in there. So the park project, though, is a working waterfront theme that we've been working on for a while. We are at the 100% design and construction documents already. So we're going out to bid in November. We are assigned a project manager. And so, like I said, the working waterfront theme park there, it incorporates the amphitheater so you can sit and watch your children play, actively utilize the space in appropriate ways. And then it's got a merchant marine ship that was built by Blue Ox and Eric Hollenbeck at Blue Ox. And so that's part of it. It's fully accessible, as all of our parks projects are going to be. And we were able to make it accessible by adding some topography in the waves of the pour in place surfacing for fall surfacing. So some wave heights will reach up to the access points for the boat. There's some sea critters in that mix. There's logs and like a log pond and a log slide and some just kind of fun adventure things. When we met in the conceptual phases, Eric Hollenbeck talked about being a kid down there and playing in the log ponds, and like it was fairly dangerous, and rolling around, jumping on the logs, falling in between them. And so we were able to recreate that like fun activity, but in a way more safer, up to playground standards manner. And so we worked with Jessica Hall at Wildling Studios for the design. We did a lot of research through like the Maritime Museum and things like, and a lot of photos. And it'll be a great addition to the waterfront. It won't impede on the Halverson Park, where we're going to have concerts and all kinds of fun events throughout the year. It will affect that during the construction, but we've reached out to all the regular groups that do rent that for activities, just to kind of give them a heads up. There'll be some staging and things like that around there, but we should hopefully be done, mid to late summer. Hopefully. This was all made possible by a donation from a family, and Grace Martin and Lance Hardy donated a sum of money. And this started off as a small thing. And then when you have money in the grant world, you have opportunities for matching. And so having something to put up for matching funding, we were able to double that to get it up to about $1.3 million. And they donated the money because they both enjoyed going down there and eating lunch and looking at the water. So we wanted to recreate that, create the accessible pathways to there. There's a bus stop. I think even at Dias Park, that was a huge part of our design, was how do we get non-motorized, or not non-motorized, but less cars? Like, can you take the bus on a bus line there? Can you walk? Can you ride your bike? Can you walk down the street? Definitely. So there's wonderful access points from the waterfront trail, beautiful views. We often have nice ships that come into the Bonnie Gould guest dock there. So it fits that working waterfront theme. And so we're super excited about that. Like I said, we're going to bid soon. So we're fingers crossed that that will be very successful. Sequoia Park, we've been working on the new conceptual stuff for the park. What our idea has been, and through public outreach over 6+ years of meetings and community events, we want to recreate that skywalk experience. The forest is incredible there, and we have some wonderful trees out front in the meadow, upper meadow we call it, where the current playground has been. We did have to pull out one of the larger play pieces because it's of its age and inability to purchase replacement parts. So when a slide breaks, you can't just build a slide, unfortunately. But it needs to come from a manufacturer that is it's a certified playground piece, and that's for liability. So we did have to pull that out. We did put in 5 temporary pieces recently, and so there's some signage telling people that that's there. It was fun to be out there that day too, when those were first installed, and to hear kids like find out it was temporary. They're like, no, don't take this away. Well, we're going to build you something better, and we'll reuse those pieces elsewhere. But the paid for experience in the zoo of the skywalk is incredible, but we want to recreate that next door, that you can come to the park and fully accessible. So we've been working with Compan, which is a company that makes playground equipment. They provided the equipment for phase 1 that's out there in the corner by the restroom. It's the natural Robinia wood. We like the look of that, the natural things. And so we just met last week with one of their reps. We also had our landscape designer that designed Dias Park on site. So we're getting the equipment that we want, so we can show actual pictures of what we're really going to do instead of just some fantasy drawing. And this will help us with the actual fundraising, because the Sequoia Park doesn't qualify for a lot of the larger grants that we've been getting in the means of like Prop 68, based on 2 things. It's the park density. Well, we have a very large 65-acre park, so we're not deficient in park space there. And then it's also the medium income of the houses around the neighborhood there. So as you can see, that's why one of those, the Dias Park got those points were scored high. And so when we're looking at the grants, we're looking at where are we going to win? Where are we the most successful? We have a wonderful team that really is thoughtful, and how do we get those? We have some other grants prepared for like Cooper Gulch and such that we'll qualify to eventually when we get our opportunity. But so we're excited about that, so that we can kick off the fundraising campaign. We do, we'll be looking for large and small donors, and we have a package ready to go. We just need to plug those pieces in so that we can hit the road and get out there and talk to people. We'll have events. We'll have all kinds of opportunities for people to help us with that, and so we're excited. Historically, the park has had different iterations throughout the 110 years that it's been a park. That was donated to us by the Glatt family, and there's been some extraordinary things there. A full-size locomotive that kids used to play on as a playground. Slides that had no playground standards that would satisfy today's standards. The swings even are grandfathered in. We will have swings. We love the swings. It is so important for us. Thank you, Barbara. We love the swings. So does the community. We heard that from all of our outreach, and but we're excited to bring you some images soon, and I think you guys will be impressed with our vision, and as well as what the community has envisioned for that's super important for us. So very exciting. Any questions about any of those?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I was at the Adorning Center last week, and I noticed, or was it this week, there was like some kind of big metal structure where the Grace Martin Park is going to be. Do you know what that was all about?
Was it the crab?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a crab.
Tetanus the crab, we call it. It's a sharp metal crab that
Yes, yes, that.
the city has procured from an artist. It's pretty cool, and it was like a drivable piece of art. The city got that as kind of a branding type thing a few years back. We'll park it out at different events on the waterfront,
okay.
Some of the events at the boardwalk area and things like that. We'll
Okay.
park that out there. But
Because I was wondering if it had something to do with the new, Grace Martin Park.
It wouldn't be anything we would let anyone play on.
Right, that's what I thought.
But
and
it's
that doesn't
definitely
look-
kinetic art,
Yeah, right.
and it's very cool. So,
I thought
yeah.
it didn't look, like user friendly, kind of like.
That's why we call him Tetanus the crab.
Right. Okay, thank you. Any
Yeah.
other questions? All right. Thank you, Jeff, for that
Thank you.
that report. Okay, now the recreation revenue summary for August 2025. The recommendation is to accept the revenue reports. Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners on the recreation revenue report tonight?
I have a question because I was here last month, and it says on this report that adds the two together that those numbers don't add up. They're different. So, it's at the very bottom and just says we're currently at, what is it?
So we do a projection.
Right, it's the current, the 64,000, and it's actually 65. There's $771 difference.
Okay.
If I didn't use a calculator, I do.
No, thank you for pointing that out. I did not see that. And we can make a correction
Yeah,
so that we'll bring that up at the next meeting. But thank you for catching that. That is very impressive.
Yeah.
Take the vote. You can approve the reports with the correction that.
Okay.
So just
Could we also correct it at the next meeting in the minutes?
you can. It's just as easy to do it.
Yeah,
now.
that's fine. Whichever is.
Okay, so do we have a motion to accept the August 2020? Is there any public comment, or is there any other comments on the revenue report? Okay, do we have a motion to accept the August 2025 revenue report with the correction as noted?
I'll motion to accept.
Okay, second?
I'll second it.
Okay, please vote. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes, and that revenue report will be corrected.
Thank you, Jenny, for
And
catching
thank you,
it.
Jenny. Staff reports. So I take it Jeff is going to be doing the staff reports tonight.
Yeah, I just have a couple of things I wanted to
Okay.
mention. I want to give a big shout out to Carol Mays, who did a excellent job at the OSPR council report at council last meeting.
Thank you.
You did a wonderful job, and thank you to Lisa Mayash, who also put that report
Definitely.
together and assisted us to get all the photos and talking points there. But Carol did a great job, and I was super proud when I watched it.
Oh, thank you. But
Yeah.
big thanks to Lisa.
Yeah.
She coached me.
A couple of events that are going on this month. Oktoberfest is a new
That's so hard to
event.
say.
We've done a lot of events like this at the zoo. We're trying to rebrand some of them. The Oktoberfest will be on October 11th from 4 to 7. It's a lot of all of our local breweries, and it's like a play on Oktoberfest. So come on out, enjoy our wonderful zoo and our bears, and our cutest new addition in there. And I don't think you'll get to see him yet, but the other two will be out. But yeah, we have some
Age.
behind the
face.
scenes stuff, yeah. But they'll be out there soon. So check it out, and we'll have cool merch and things like that. And then we're also like always trying to work with some of our local breweries or cider houses and stuff to like, we want to create a brew or something that is specific to our zoo, and market that, and then maybe get a little money towards some conservation and things like that. But so always appreciative of our local community and their assistance. The other two events, the Redwood Coast Music Festival, which formerly was the Redwood Dixieland Jazz Festival, is going to be coming next weekend, October 2nd. So it starts on Thursday night through the 5th. We have a couple different venues throughout town. I believe there's 7 venues this year. And of course the city hosts their venue at the Adorney Center. So it's always a fun event with talent from all over the country. Also, the Walked-In Alzheimer's will be at the Adorney Center on October 11th. So get your walking in on the 11th, and then come on over to the zoo and have a refreshment. So that's my report. Unless anyone has any questions that I didn't talk about tonight, and welcome. Thank you, Sarah, for being here tonight. And looking forward, you'll get to meet our other staff. I was doing a lot of talking tonight, and but we have an incredible team that
Yes.
you'll get to meet.
Oh, they're a great team. They're
We have
so
fun,
easy to
too.
work with, too. So our next regular meeting will be on October 23rd, 2025, 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers at Eureka City Hall. And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.